Okay guys, another exponent law here. We're going to be dealing with negative exponents. So make sure that you write this down, and it's a little complicated to grasp. It looks easy here. I don't want to say flip the fraction because it's not always going to be in a fraction form, and it's not always going to be to like the power of 1. But what it means when you have a negative exponent, it means it's in the wrong place. So if you have something like this and it has a negative exponent, you're actually going to bring it down and put it into fraction form. If it's already in a fraction form and it has a negative exponent, it means that you want to move it up. So really what you're doing is you're switching places, okay? So you're going to switch places in the fraction. Let's forget this right here. And you're going to keep the value of the exponent. So like if this was a negative 2, I would have a positive 2 here. If this was a negative 1, I would have a positive 2 here. So you keep the value of the exponent, but then once you move it, it becomes positive. So I'll show you. So here we have a to the negative 3rd power. So I would write this as a fraction, a over 1. And then you know when it's negative, you're going to move it down. Okay, so that's going to become 1 over a to the positive 3 power. Okay, keep in mind that this becomes positive. So your exponent becomes positive after you move it. Okay, so that's important. A lot of you guys will do the work right, so you'll put it in a fraction and you'll move it down, but you'll leave that as like a negative 3, and that's incorrect. Okay, here there's 2 ways you can do this. I'll show you both ways. You can go ahead and multiply across. You know that when you multiply two terms that have the same base, that you're going to add these. So that would be a to the negative 1 plus negative 3, which is just a to the negative 1 minus 3, which is a to the negative 4. Okay. We don't like negative exponents, so you always want to, simplify that further. So then you would have a to the negative 4 over 1, and then you would just bring that down. So that would be 1 over a to the positive 4. Okay, so that's one way that you could do it. This is the answer that we want. The other way that you could do it is start with the negative exponents first. You know that this needs to come down, so you would have a to the positive 1 times 1 over a to the positive 3. We know that when you multiply fractions, you multiply straight across, so that you would have 1 over a to the 1 plus 3, which is 4. Okay, so either way, you get the same answer. It's up to you how you want to do it, whatever is less work for you, or whichever makes more sense. Okay, here we have 2 terms that we're multiplying together. We're multiplying this times this, and this is a 3 here. Okay, what I like to do is I like to just multiply across and then move whatever needs to be moved. So I have 2 times 3, which is 6. And then I have x. There's no x here, so that's going to stay x to the negative 1. And here I'm multiplying these two y's, so this is going to be y to the 2 plus negative 3, or just 2 minus 3. Don't put a double negative here. Don't go 2 minus negative 3. That's not right. Remember, when you are multiplying, you add it, so you would have, plus negative 3. And then you just keep going. So I have 6x to the negative 1. Y 2 minus 3 is negative 1. Okay, so if I wanted to write this whole thing as a fraction, as 6 over 1, I know that this needs to come down and this needs to come down, so that I have 6 over x to the positive 1 power, y to the positive 1 power. And that would be your answer here. If you have something where you have the exponents that are negative in the denominator, so you had like 3x squared over y to the negative 3 q2. All right, you want to first identify any negative exponents that you have, and then go ahead and move them up, so that you would have 3x squared y cubed over q squared. Okay, you never want to leave your answer with negative exponents. You always want to make sure that you move them either to the top or the bottom, wherever they need to go. If you have any questions, let me know.